So what we're starting off here with is Bitcoin dominance. In the first 15 minutes here, I want to look at the 6 big altcoins that are trading on BitMEX, and I want to check them against the indicators across our 4-hour times and the 1-hour time frame. After that, we're going to look at Bitcoin dominance that on the chart here now, and we're going to finish with an overview of the Patreon altcoin market watch spreadsheet and the awesome information that we are boiled down together into those reports there. So when that's finished, then I'll take requests for any technical analysis that you want on the charts. Let's be sure that this is working properly and I'm on the right stream. If you are new to the channel, be sure to head over to the website and get the free chapter from our, more than the free chapter. You get the entire trading plan in a 1-hour webinar. It's a great starting point for technical analysis for beginners, but it's also fantastic if you have been trading for a while and you need to just brush up on a few different points that can fine-tune your trading. It's fantastic stuff, and there's no catch. This is the real stuff. All of this, the live stream, the Discord chat, is all free, and I give it away because beginners actually need it, and because I offer deeper services to people who are seriously trading. So you can check out our pro crypto alerts, or if you want to get right into it, you can do our guided lessons. And we have a very few spots left right now at the $197 price fee. If that's too much for you and you still want to learn, I am high five all the way. Be sure to get that free webinar so that you can follow along with everything that I'm doing here and it makes more sense to you. Now, I think this is going to take a second for this to come up. Last time I loaded it, there we go. We're looking at ADA, and this is a chart that I hadn't cleared off yet since yesterday. As we did the live stream, Bitcoin was doing a crash, and I came on and did the live stream. We were looking at the alts at the same time. And so I put on a long position here, and because it broke out of another level of a 1, 2, 3, I added to that position. Now I'm watching it really closely because I believe that Bitcoin may not yet be finished. All right, now I'm over on the chat and I say Trader Rituto is here. I'm getting smooth at your name now. And Ethel and Luca, good to have you along. And good to have you here again. I tried to get the free chapter multiple times, but I cannot find the PDF on the site. It should be emailed to you. Come over to Discord, then I can just send it to you. But thanks for the feedback there. If you, I don't know, it should be an automatic thing that comes through to you. If you subscribed on the website, it should have come to you. So hit me up on Discord and I will PM it to you. Now, 4-hour time frame. We were watching and talking about this and talking about the fact that this is a valid trading signal on that 15-minute time frame as we hit this double bottom and we had a 1, 2, 3 in the RSI. After this beautiful divergence, another great divergence and a nice divergence in the RSI here. Everything was giving us a buy signal on the super short time frame. So if you can babysit a trade and you can be there to watch it, maybe you can play those kind of strategies. But for the longer term trades, I really step back and I try to use the 4-hour time frame or even the 12-hour time frame to really get a perspective of where things are. And that doesn't work out so well with these short-term price contracts over on BitMEX. You got to look at the longer term charts on Binance. So for the purpose of this live stream, for now, I'm going to stick to the 4-hour time frames and continue to compare things there. So now what I'm kind of worried about or watching for is what is happening with this 4-hour relative strength index. So can expect that it would come back to these levels. That's not a very good line. Let me grab a line making tool. Yeah, we can expect that it'll come back to these levels on its uptrend from now forward. And so it would be okay for this to come back and retest these levels. In fact, it would be preferred. And then to make an ascending wedge triangle and then break above these levels. And if that happens, then the RSI should come back to these levels and correspond to the higher lows here. And that's what we'll be watching for. Unless prices break straight up through this, then that just blows this right out of the water. And I'll expect that the RSI is going to stay right in the overbought territory all along. But my own thinking is that Bitcoin isn't done giving up the ghost yet, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I want to go through the same routine of the indicators now, so on the same time frame, so that we can record it and see what's happening as it builds up. So if you've missed the initial opportunity and you're waiting for it to build into something that is viable, then we're watching for this to confirm that as this makes the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, this whole thing is going to be ready to stage and stage and stage higher. And I just have to go over to Binance and go into a longer term view of this chart. My apologies. But let's go into a weekly view. Sorry, the daily view. And look to see where this was in the past. It's not fair to match them together yet. But as I actually find a drawing tool here, we can see that we're up to 7,200 Satoshi. And we're at 450 right now. We're at 5. So this would be 10 times right there. Insanely crazy opportunities in the altcoins all setting up. If we go back to old historical levels, and we've seen that happen in Bitcoin before, where it's gone on massive downtrends and then went up and broke through levels nobody expected. So I'm not ruling that out. In fact, I want to be sure that I leave a part of my trade and I sit on it as long as possible. And once it gets into the trend, I'm way off track here. Once it gets into the trend, even if it turns out to fail in the trend, I want to have a piece of my position that's ready to be there for this longer term big move. I want to expect it. I want to be ready for it. I want to plan for it and implement that. I want to know ahead of time. So now let me go back to BitMEX, ADA, and the 4-hour time frame, so that we're zooming right in on the point of the beast now. We got lots of time to set up for this. It's really fantastic. Here's a sneak peek at Bitcoin, and I'll go to ADA. Looking at the crosses are very nice still in the MACD indicator on the 4-hour time frame. I like this positive cross and this positive cross. I like the divergence from the double bottom, really powerful, and it hasn't come back to cross yet on this time frame. So let's zoom in and see what the 1-hour time frame is telling us. So it is kind of peaking out here, and a break of this uptrend probably is going to give us this pullback that I'm expecting. Like right about now, we can see that it's breaking this uptrend line as we're speaking. So this is all starting to run out of steam. This is running out of steam. So if we're looking at the very short time frame, this is what looks like a top formation right now. Let me go back to the chat. I see I've got the chat up on the screen so that it's recorded for the playback. Yes, we'll definitely get into Litecoin BTC for sure, because I think Litecoin BTC and the rest of these alts that we go through in this pack of 6, they're all going to be showing the same thing, that we had this great pop and now it's running out of steam. It just needs a breath. So do you hold right now? Do you sell right now? These are all questions you have to have planned out in advance, so you know when you're going to be selling and when you're going to take your profit. Let's continue on now and go to ADA on the 4-hour time frame in the Ichimoku cloud. It has crossed positive. This is, give me the scribbler. This is crossed positive. That's crossed positive. We almost have a twist positive, and it's not quite poking out of the cloud yet. So if it does come back here and test in any of these ranges and then go up, the Ichimoku cloud is going to be all over that in this formation before we break out of the larger 1, 2, 3. So we're starting to see those nested 1, 2, 3s set up, and that just makes me smile. I love it. That just to know about it ahead of time, watch them unfold, and to comment on it, see it unfold afterwards is really phenomenal. Great fun to do. So here we had the cross yesterday. We had this giving us the positive sign right out of these formations. This is where I bought in at 416 and then I added on, so it's averaged me out to 422 in my entry. I've got my stops up above the price, and I'm going to sit. Even though I could sell now, take my profits, and it would be more handsome, I am waiting for the bigger money. So let's see how that plays out over time, and I'll tell you how it goes. Now, let's go on to the next coin, EOS. So EOS surprised me in how much it took off. Even though yesterday, if I zoom into the 15-minute time frame, here we go. The 1 hour time frame, yesterday I circled this because it was making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in the 15-minute time frame. We had noticed this beautiful divergence in the RSI, how it diverged all the way along here, and then supporting the takeoff. It was a buy signal. I didn't act on it. In fact, I said I was not going to, and I didn't, because I'm waiting for a longer bottom. And I didn't like that this was at a new number 1 point, a new bottom. It didn't hold this and create a double bottom. Now I like this, and I like all of the other coins we're just about to look at because of this formation that they've poked up and given me a beautiful number 1 point. They've come up now and they're stopping at support and resistance. Beautiful. Come back here and gain some steam. And as you take off next time, now we already have our parallel channel and an excuse for nitro right at this point. And we already know about it ahead of time. We've already got all these technical levels. It's just lined up so beautifully. It's crazy. So I'm super excited about hearing your success stories as this unfolds. Now let's go into EOS on the on-balance volume and see what's going on there. That's turned around really nicely, and look at the volume. It's much better than we've had all the way along here in the 4 hour time frame. Beautiful. And so for this to come back and settle and build more, we'll see how this plays out in the on-balance volume, but it's going to shape up just like a dream. Let's go to EOS now, and we are seeing, I didn't notice this in the RSI. We are seeing a divergence here in the MACD saying out of steam. That's it for now. You just calm back down, come here. It will pull back to these levels and bounce off here. And that will set up our beautiful 1, 2, 3 formation. Can't ask for anything better as these are setting up. Beautiful. And what did we see yesterday? As this was crossing so strong and hitting the bottom, we must have noticed that, must have spoken about that, saying that I like it, but it's lower. These crosses are kind of bearish still. It hasn't given me the bullish turnaround cross. So it's okay. That's okay to sit back and not jump into things so long as you've got that plan that now as this comes back and it crosses over and it gives us the recross again, we are going to have the same matchup of our bottom that we're looking for here. We're going to have that exact same time. So we just crazy. I can't wait to see how this plays out. EOS on the 4 hour time frame. It has gone positive. It's a buy signal as it broke through here. Not a nice one. Again, I did not trade it. I would hold back. I'm waiting for this to give me that bigger formation and a more certain move. This was great, but didn't match my entries. So we've got a few more people joining in. We got Sun Go, we got Snow. Haven't seen you around in a while. Good to have you back. Things could get insane finally for the alts and get insane, but now we're prepared. This is where I've been studying BitMEX. In fact, I started for the last 3 days. I've been watching hours and hours and hours of BitMEX tutorials and collecting all the best information from them. And it got so that I was kind of bored with watching them because they get down to the tactics and strategies and the power tricks. Most of them have the good stuff in there. Each one has a good specialty. But I found the most important thing was to go through and answer all of the questions that people are asking below these BitMEX trading tutorial videos. So I'm super keen about this ultimate BitMEX tutorial that I've put together because it really matches so well with the markets that we're looking at for trading on BitMEX. Okay, I got a little off track there, but this is so cool to see all this setting up here. Ethereum, let's log you. Let's see what you did. We had the double bottom in the RSI on the 4 hour time frame, which was a bit bullish. I liked it, but it wasn't enough. Even this divergence, as we were watching this yesterday, we had a double bottom and the RSI was diverging. It's still not enough for me because of the rest of the readings. But now that we've come back to these levels and we have a potential for it to pull back and retest and give us an ascending wedge triangle here, it could really go. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin at the end of this video. It's driving me crazy. I want to look at it. Let's go on to the next reading for Ethereum. So I want to see the on-balance volume being stronger than it's been in quite a long time. So that does set like a gong tone to everything going on right here to see this volume setting in. I haven't seen this. It's not strong enough yet, but April 1st was a big one, that the huge change and a huge shift. And when that shift happened, if you just go full on it, crazy profits are made. So I just like to see what's going on there. It's not important enough yet as this is building. We're still building and preparing, even though you could have bought there. Here we have higher crosses in this in the MACD indicator, which I like it. It's really a very nice bullish setup here. So I'm going to zoom in on this because I want to see this pattern as we're getting ready to break above these levels. If I don't, then I'm just going to sit and watch. But as that happens, what's going to happen with the RSI? Is it going to give us a cross like this or a touch and then continue on up? Then we should have this RSI running, the MACD, running to much higher levels than where we are here. This should really extend upward if this continues. Now, I want to zoom in on this one just to see what's happening on these close level histograms. And it does look like it. The same thing we just saw in EDO, where this is going up but running out of steam. You can see it's running out of steam. This is going higher and this is not going along with it. So that gives me more feel that right now we're going to get a pullback. And in the background, I expect Bitcoin's not going to be dropping lower as we get this altcoin pullback. Can't wait to just watch this unfold. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame for the Ichimoku cloud in Ethereum. Not that positive yet, so this needs more time to mature, much like we saw, what was that, in ADA, that needed more time for it to mature. In the 1-hour time frame, it gave us the breakout, which is good. It's a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 15-minute time frame, but those are so often fake out breakouts and the prices come back that we really have to be aware of the trend line being broken to the upside. So as we have this trend line breaking anywhere, it is really important to pay attention to. That trend line is key. So as we have a trend line up and the trend line comes back and hesitates again and gives us the 1, 2, 3 on the inside, then we are going to be looking for our nitro spot just to see, is this the spot to go nitro? Did it work? We'll have our stop losses to protect us if it doesn't work. Really nice chart actually to draw on. Let me continue on our scan. There's no way I'm making this in 15 minutes. Head over to Litecoin now. 4-hour time frame. This also gave us, I'll leave that scribbler, a divergence in the RSI. It wasn't that strong, but that it was at same levels here and lower levels there is also strengthening it. As I zoomed into it, we were watching for this break and we could see the little 1, 2, 3 as this is setting up. So there's lots of little cues that were there for us as this broke ahead of this downtrend off of these oversold levels. That is a signal. And if you're a bot, you could probably jump in and out on that. I try to just observe these for now, and I didn't trade Litecoin. So what I'm watching for is the same thing as in Ethereum, essentially. When I look at the price pattern, because we have a brand new number 1 point here, this becomes our number 2. It needs to mature and give us this setup here. So that's what I'm watching for the next few days in Litecoin. Let's double check the on-balance volume. Very nice. Very nice and steady. It's not just a peak and then died back, but it kept pretty steady through that period. Now it should pull back and give us that bottom formation, that fill it out more. So here's the beginning of the pullback for Ethereum. We could just see that tick happen as I changed the screen. So Litecoin, I expect that same thing, that same pullback. Look at this same idea here. The 1 hour MACD indicator is really rocking it. And the 4-hour time frame is giving it lots of room. So this still, again, same pattern. But the 1 hour is really showing us that this is getting ready to pull back. Beautiful. Beautiful chart. Let's go into Litecoin on the 4-hour time frame. Same idea, but not as bullish as some of the others we've seen here. It's giving us a little bit, but again, if it pulls back and matures, it's going to give us a much more solid bottom formation. If I zoom in on this just to take a look at the 1 hour time frame, actually, let's zoom in on this and see even the 15-minute time frame, because this should be giving us our exit signal as well. If not the 15-minute, then the 5-minute should be matching this up. Let's zoom in. Still not giving us an exit. Still could be a buy signal in an uptrend. Wicked. There's a 12-hour. All right, so Litecoin, same thing as I'm just waiting for that to mature, just to ripen up a little bit. So if we go over to TRX now and bring this chart up, we just saw a tick back in Litecoin as we were pulling back from that. So TRX also made a tiny little bottom formation and moved up. I went long on this because it's one of those really small, low Satoshi coins. Oh, I have to go to Binance, filter by BTC, scroll down to TRX, out to the full year view. We had a phenomenal trade in TRX out of the bottom formation in, what was that, December. So as this made this bottom formation and started to take off, just after December 17th bottom formation in Bitcoin, made some phenomenal returns, and it made such a beautiful top formation. 1, 2, 3, easy peasy, get out. And I didn't go short. It would have been wonderful to sit short on this for a long time, all the way down. Now, I bring this up because look where it's been in the past. 1,000, 1,600, 1,700 Satoshi, and it's at 150. So there's another market that could do a 10 times change over the next months as this market is going. So getting a position here and holding it for the long period and really paying attention to these parallel trend lines when they happen. When we get any parallel trend lines, we're just going to sit inside that parallel channel. We're not going to do anything until it jumps out of the parallel channel. So we have very few action days, and we're coming up to one right away. We could go sideways for a while, for certain. Anyway, love it. Let's go back to the shorter time frames and see what's going on with the on balance volume. Not strong enough yet. I like it. It's a good start. It's got to build on this for me. It's got to build a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation really to be a legitimate good trade for my trading system that you get if you download it from the website. Now here again, what is this? TRX 1, 2, 3. We've got the crossover, so this was good on the 4-hour time frame. But if we go into the 1-hour time frame, it's doing the same thing. But this is even better because it's making a 1, 2, 3. It's double topped there, and we have the crossover on the MACD on this 1-hour time frame. So this is, I think, most everything is topped out here. You know, this certainly could cross positive again, and then off we go. And if that's the case, wow. Hold on to your hats. Hold on to your altcoins. If this crosses positive again on any of these coins that we're looking at, we're in for some bigger moves forward. And that is a possibility. We could definitely have all of these coins that I've just been poo-hooing and talking about this pullback. We could have them go sideways while this does its pullback. And as it crosses positive, that's when this will be breaking out. So we could be doing a breather this way. It doesn't have to pull back, but it could be doing a breather sideways, and that will be our key. No matter if it pulls back here and then this crosses or goes sideways. And the Ichimoku cloud on TRX. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, got to drag it forward a bit. We got a couple of the positive indicators, but nowhere near as good as the others. This also needs time to mature. If we go into the 1-hour time frame, it did give us the breakout. So in this time frame, it could easily come back, bounce off of this, and give us the buy signal in the uptrend. And that would also fill out our 1, 2, 3 bottom. 1, 2, 3. That's big enough, especially at these technical levels. As just crazy, really phenomenal over the next while. And we've got time now. We're seeing it. We're seeing this setup. You could go across all of the altcoins. Now, Bitcoin dominance. Did I finish? Let's go back to this one because I don't think I finished. We've got one more coin to do as soon as this pops up. And we go back to the correct charts. TRX. Ripple. I know we've got some Ripple fans who are just saying, you missed Ripple, you missed Ripple. Here we are. Ripple made a very nice formation. This was better than the others. It made the 1, 2, 3 just as clean as can be there in the 4-hour time frame, while we had this massive divergence in the RSI. Break of this trend line right at that point. Everything is really good, except that it was making a new number 1 point. Terrible line. It was making a new number 1 point down to new lows. And so this is a super tiny 1, 2, 3 bottom, and I try not to trade them. Sometimes I do. They are legitimate trading signals. But I've got to be sitting at the charts, watching that. That's no autopilot on that kind of time frame trading. So we're looking at the RSI now for Ripple. Let's go into the on balance volume for Ripple and see if it's jumped up to something good. Not bad, not as good as it could be. Like, this is nowhere near what it's. So again, this one needs to set and mature for me. And it would be really nice, because we have a clean 1, 2, 3 right at these technical levels, that if it were to come back here and sit here and then do something crazy, extra power to that, especially if we're starting to see the on balance volume be stronger as it's coming up to these levels now, then it's just like, sell the house and put everything in. I'm kidding, but so if you subscribe during the live stream, it scares the daylights out of me for the sound in my ears, but you should have an icon dancing on the screen when you subscribe. So if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe now and we can get more. Another example for me to test. Ripple, looking good. This just crossed positive. Completely knocked me off my 1 hour time frame. So I was looking for this to be running out of steam, as we saw in the others, but also seeing if this crossed positive, because we have lots of crosses to the positive. These may just hammer right through these levels, which would be crazy great. Let's go and see Ripple. Clean this off. 4 hour time frame. Pull it back. And we are not really getting the buy signal like the others. All of the 4 hour Ichimoku clouds are saying a little while yet. And all of the 1 hour Ichimoku cloud said a buy signal yesterday. Now we're waiting for it to bounce off of this or continue on to verify the 4 hour time frame buy signal. That was a loud sound. Sorry. So let me turn that down. I'm glad for the test. So if there's anybody else who wants to test it again, hit the subscribe button and we'll get to test it with a little bit less volume in it. Maybe it won't scare you guys out of your pants too. All right, now let's get into Bitcoin dominance. It's come off this top formation that we were looking at yesterday. And now that it's in this parallel trend, I want to hammer it. And I also want to watch for it to come out of this parallel trend anywhere. So if it starts to come out of this parallel trend, I really want to watch it, because this will be all of the alts pulling back to make their larger 1, 2, 3 formation. If dominance continues and it breaks this side of our parallel channel, it's going to give us a big swoop down, which would be great for all of the altcoin holders. Let's go to a longer time frame in this. Look at this trend line. So we're always looking for the exit of our signals is different than the entrance of the signal. The entrance of the signal, let me flip this upside down. This is a great example, because you don't want to enter a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation until it's proven itself correct. So we've got the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up here, but it didn't break the trend line and break above the 1, 2, 3 formation. So there was no like buy signal in this chart. If this was a chart we could do a buy signal on. So we can see the difference here that in a buy signal, you're waiting for this bottom to confirm, break the trend line and go above. So it's changing directions. But in a sell signal, it's not the same. Pardon me while I clean up this mess. This chart isn't as easy to. So the sell signal is not the same. The sell signal happens before the 1, 2, 3 is completed. It happens when the trend line is broken. That's your sell signal. And then I'm anticipate, that's my sell signal anyway. So then I use this as an additional sell signal if prices come back up, and I've got the 1, I've got the number 2, and then it comes back to make a number 3 point. I'm using the break of this trend line as now resistance as it's going up. So many times we've seen this where it breaks and it pulls back and then breaks super hard. This is another thing that we'll be watching for all of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations in the alts. Let's see if this pans out. You know, one thing I wanted to do is to take a screenshot of this and tweet it out. So Bitcoin dominance. And I want to take these screenshots of when I'm talking about them and catalog them, put them out there where we can quote them again later. Now, Bitcoin. And then I'll head over to the chat and I'll see if there's any specific coins that you want me to take a look at. Let me go now and clear this off. So one thing that was really standing out to me that is still in the chart, still standing there, is this reversal, hammer reversal candle. Hammer reversal candle while we are in an uptrend line of the hammer reversals. So every time we've had that, it's been a major rejection that started a big run up. And if that is the case, then inside this pattern right here, our indicators should be showing us divergences. We've got a double bottom here. Our RSI should be showing us higher lows as this is setting up. The MACD indicator and some time frame should be showing this cross and positive cross again as this is setting up. We should be seeing all of those in our indicators as that's setting up. And if not, then we should be seeing our indicators giving us a overbought and coming down to more overbought, or you know what I mean, oversold, so that it's failing to new lows while we're having highs. That kind of divergence would be a bearish divergence. And so if the MACD is bearish divergence, if the RSI is the bearish divergence, if the Ichimoku cloud and the small time frames is showing this as a sell signal in a downtrend, all those things match up. But right now, it has the potential to be turning around. And the moment of truth is really close at hand. We have this trend line so that if it breaks this trend line, it's a sell signal. And it would be a very small sell signal according to Woo! Thanks for the subscribe. Was that super loud in your ears as well? It made me dance. But I appreciate the subscribe. That's awesome. Let me go back to the chat here. No, if you unsubscribe and then subscribe, it won't work. It won't give the notification. So let's go take a look at PIVX. And then decreed or decred, or however you pronounce it, performed very nice the last 6 months compared to the other alts. The problem is the price action does not look stable. Empty books, big spikes, so it's got very low volume. Looks like the bad time for alts. Much better notification sound now. Awesome, good. Oh, I think we may see this give us some notice here while we're live. I don't know which notice we're going to get though. I see them both. I can see both in the patterns when I go through the charts. And so it's not time for action in these coins, and happy to have the ALTCOIN long. Let's go and take a look at some Binance coins. We'll start off with PIVX, PLMNOP. Wow. Giving some noise. I like to see this divergence where you see Bitcoin in the background and things taking off. And it's easy to just go from chart to chart to chart to chart and start to see that it's happening at a whole bunch at the same time. Those are really great moments, especially when we're all lining up out of these 1, 2, 3s. Look how long this has been setting up now. A full month of higher lows all the way along. We see some pre-pump candles going on. These could be exhaustion wicks. And if Bitcoin does moon, this will probably go down. And these are indications that, post afterwards, we can see that they happen quite a bit just before or as these bottom formations look like they're shaping up. They happen and then we get this pissing off the roof formation. So here again, we've got these pre-pump patterns, they do show up when it actually is a pre-pump. And this is setting up and it actually does go. The same pattern is sitting there. But if it fails out and we get the exponential moving average crossover, then it's another pissing off the roof formation. And who knows how much further down it can go. It is at 3,400 Satoshi. It could go down 10 times more and it'd still be at 340 Satoshi. It could go 10 times down from there and be at 34 Satoshi. So it's not so low that it can't go lower. But that it is making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is my strategy. And so anything above these levels becomes a potential hold coin, especially when we're on the 12-hour time frame and we have our 3 plans for the trading plan, the 3 requirements. We have the break of the downtrend line, we have the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and as the exponential moving average crosses on the 12-hour time frame, then we can be thinking of getting into it. And that is the very first stage of the trade. And so we put on, 20 or 30%. So if I have $100, I'd put on 20 or 30 there, knowing that if I am correct, I'm going to add on to it here. And if I am correct and we are in a super long trend, I'm going to add on to it here when it is making the parallel channels. It will have to make as it's staging up in this uptrend. And I already know, and I want you to practice with me, that when it comes to these and it's making a 1, 2, 3 formation, when it comes to this and it's making a 1, 2, 3 formation, these are our nitro zones. Not until then. It can do all this stuff, but we have to wait for it to come right to the edge of whatever parallel channel we have, however thick it ends up being, whatever angle it turns out to be. This is the pattern that we're looking for over the next 18 months, 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months, yep. But at the same time, I think that all of these privacy coins are going to go down to 0 in value and they're going to be delisted from all of the exchanges. Because for the US anyway, for the exchange, the Security and Exchange Commission will say that they are for money laundering, they're for criminals, they are for human trafficking, they are for, whatever bad crime you can put together, they just match it all into that. And with those words, they can make it illegal. And I don't really blame them for it, for those coins. You can't trace it. Everything's going to be traceable. They're going to put every gram of gold will be on a blockchain so that there's no more fake gold out there. Fake gold. So I like PIVX chart pattern, and I would trade it regardless of my opinion if it's making the formations. That's what I'm here for. I don't know enough about, there's no way to know enough about everything that's going on in these coins. And so I just defer to the charts. Hey, Dean H, good to have you along. If you've got a coin request, let me know and I'll dig in through it. In the meantime, let's go and take a look at some of the top volume traded coins right now on Binance and see what's going on. So EOS Didn't we look at that, or was that? New. EOS, yes. Really did great. And nice volume. Beautiful volume. Ripple we looked at. Litecoin we looked at. I'm not looking at, I haven't looked at BNB. We looked at Ethereum. So all of the top volume coins here are the ones that are traded on BitMEX. These are the places where you can put on the 10 times leverage trades, the 25 times leverage trades, even up to 100 times leverage, which is crazy. But there's a time for it. There is a time for Nitro, only on the straight stretches. So ADA we also looked at. I want to see Link. And Link. It came down off some important support and resistance levels from the past. That it's bounced off these levels gives us some support, you know, it gives us something to put our feet onto. Zoom in on this, and it was making a bottom formation before Bitcoin was making its top formation. And I noticed this in a few different coins that they came down and they are making, look at this divergence where we got higher highs in Bitcoin but stable lows in Link. As that happened, then it's making a 1 2 3 formation as Bitcoin's making a 1 2 3 top formation. So this seems to support that Bitcoin is coming down and the alts are showing strength coming off of this spot if all of this is working out properly. And if not, then I think that Link will hit, it has hit support and resistance from the top now, and it's going to hover there. Now it gets tougher. And it also gives the rest of us some time to get prepared for Link doing another whole new round of uptrend moves. We will have the time now to get prepared for this, to do its next stage up. So in the long term, we've seen a very nice pullback and retracement to very good levels. Wonderful place for us to be considering a add-on trade. And what was this now? This is only 6 months of time. 6 months of time. This is what we're imagining and getting ready for the major altcoin bull market to do for us over the next 6 to 8 months of time. I expect we're going to see that for the rest of the alts, we're doing this right now. We're going to see a run up and a pullback, a run up and a pullback, the explosive move, and then the large pullback to 60% of the explosive move. Then we start off on the next phase, which is going to take us off of this chart. For the next 18 months. This is probably a not to scale, and it's going to be jumping quite a bit more. This is not to scale. This will be way straight up off this chart. And I think all of the alts are going to be ready for this, and I want all of us to be prepared for these exponential moving average crossovers, that we are going to be taking action, knowing that in the long term, it's going to turn back around for us. We're going to wait for every little bottom formation like this, and we'll try them out, and then we'll get out of it again, and we'll pay respect to these trend lines. We'll try it again. You may want to scale out, scale back in, scale out, scale back in, or you may want to hold what you have and add on to it at these times. So then these we would be scaling out and scaling out from these trades, And we wouldn't scale out of the first original trade until way after the top formation. After the top formation, our original trade. That way we're ensured that we're staying in for the crazy long-term view of it with at least a small bit of our trade. Our add-ons we take off earliest, and our original trade we take off latest. We're trying to get some extra meat out of the middle of this whole market move. Boom. Crypto Kerbit, good to have you along, and appreciate the tweets out every once in a while. That is phenomenal. I love doing this chat. I get a lot of good feedback, and yet we don't get the viewership here that some of the other channels get. I've been watching more of the other channels the last little while, and many of them are a great entertainment, but they don't be focused around a specific structured trading plan and stay on that plan over and over and over every single day as the plan unfolds. And I'm hoping that you guys help me out, build the audience, hit the thumbs up, subscribe so that we can all dance to that cool jingle. And tune in next time for the next live episode here and over on the Bitcoin channel. Love to see what Link is doing. Let me go see. So how many of your coins are showing bottom formation? Sorry. How many coins? We didn't cover that. Let's go over to, or did we? I don't know. I did on the other channel a little bit. And I did a special report for our patron subscribers as well, where this spreadsheet is available for our patron subscribers. $15 a month. You get access to log into this spreadsheet and see what we're doing every single day with it. And it's not just this squiggly pattern on the front page. It's much more detailed than what we can see when we look at, say, our color-coded spreadsheet here. You get a lot more detail because we've taken all this color coding and we've done some filters so that we can see which are the coins that have been in hold status the most often over the last couple months, which have been in hold status and alert status. And we can filter them down and sort them so that we can tell, I think, which ones are going to be the best coins taking off first. And I think that is phenomenal value, especially since we go over about 200 coins every single day and we provide it for you so that you can just log in, see the results of our research rather than having to do all this research yourself. And I know over time, this portfolio is going to kick ass. And if you haven't kicked ass the same way throughout this whole time, even if you're watching these live streams every day, you will look back and say, oh, that's September of 2019. Son of a, damn it. All right, let me see the chat. High Altitude Investing originally sent me to your channel years ago. You two are my fave. He does not post as often as he used to, though. Yeah, I really appreciated Dalton's videos back in the day as well. It is tough to continue to do this over and over and over. You really have to be a little obsessed with it, and you have to have a super strong belief. This has really wiped out a lot of people over the last 18 months to 2 years because of what altcoins have done. They've just been hammered and squished. So it's been tough for a lot of crypto traders who banked too much on cryptos and didn't watch the trading patterns. Trading is hard. If you get into short-term trading and you're looking at day trading, you get your ass handed to you over and over again. And you jump into leverage trading before you're ready for it. You have no trouble understanding if I tell you, as a yellow belt, if you go to a black belt class, you're probably going to get your ass handed to you. It's out of your league. The people who are doing things, they may not be any more fit than you, no more strong than you. They've just been practicing these patterns so that they become reflexive in their own brains. They've done it over and over and over, that 10,000 repetition rule, that once you've gone past 10,000 repetitions, it is written into your neural cortex. It's part of your brain. You don't have to give conscious attention to it anymore. You don't think about it. The same as a pilot who is trained and practiced to land a plane. If a sudden side shift of wind comes in and he's doing a crosswind landing, he corrects that plane and the rudder and the steering and everything reflexively without thinking, without checking the manual. What should I do when a crosswind happens? It's the same thing with leverage trading. And if you are really good at talking technical analysis, it's very different than trading. Easy to talk technical analysis. A whole nother thing to put your money down and have it be successful. There's tons that goes into it. And everybody can learn it. You could learn to be a pilot. There's no that you can't learn it. It's not genetics. It is something practiced. It is repeated over and over and over and over and over until you're fucking bored of it. And then you're good at it. And then it's not a problem. And it's not emotional anymore. And when you diversify across a whole bunch of the alts and you're taking small positions for longer periods of time, it gets to be routine. It doesn't pressure you. You don't lose sleep over it. You don't get into the gambling mindset of jumping into every little whip that moves. So, what's my opinion on Bitcoin dominance turning around? I'm watching for it now. Just like any other chart that has finished its 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, I completely changed what I'm looking at, and I'm watching for the top formation. As soon as it's already finished the bottom formation, I'm done looking at that. Now I want to know, when is it going to change direction from where it's going? It's in a parallel trend line. And so what I'm watching for here is, if I zoom in, that's the 4-hour time frame. If I zoom in, that's too close, but it'll do. I am now watching for the 1, 2, 3 formation in the other direction. So I was watching here, and as it came back and did this, I made an alert saying, hey, this is something to pay attention to, that it is changing direction at all. And then when it broke below these levels, now I'm watching for a new number 1 point, new number 2, and any hint of it coming out of this parallel channel I'm watching for, because that's when the alts are pulling back on average. That's what this is the measure of. So it's super important to be watching, especially as it comes to these support and resistance levels from the recent past. I didn't give this credibility. I didn't realize how important this was. I didn't do the math. I didn't think it through until it got through my brain. Even though I watched Tone Vays in the summer of 2017 talking all about Bitcoin dominance, and that Bitcoin dominance is crushing the alts, they're all going down. I completely didn't get it. So it cost me a lot to learn that. And now I do get it. Now I pay attention to this regularly. In fact, it's part of every stream to compare how it's doing. This is the overall average measure of the alts, so it tells the story. And watching it closely. And I don't know what it's going to do. I just watch for this formation, and then I act on either side of it. So long as it stays in this, I'm good. So long as it stays above any of these red lines, then we're all good. As long as it stays above this level and bounces down from there, the alt bull market is continuing. This is the measure of it. Sure, let's go take a look at OMG, which is making new lows. I think it's a near fail still. And ICX is much more exciting from my memory of just blasting through all of the alts this morning as we were setting up. So I'll go to Binance, and then we'll go to OMG. Should be filtered by Bitcoin and not by my favorites, down to OMG. Okay, it is a neutral stance now. It gave us a number, it's a new number 1 point, and it's building up. This on the 4-hour time frame. If we zoom in to the same things that we were doing for the BitMEX traded coins, this gave us the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on this 15-minute time frame. It actually gave a buy signal at the same time that Bitcoin did this dump and started to do this. Many of the alts were starting to show strength, and some of them did it a lot more explosively than OMG. And I don't know what's up with the project, but it's not performing as well as the investors want it to be. The investors would already be all over this, and they wouldn't let these bottom formations break. They'd be buying it. It's a good value. They would know it. So until the investors come in and show me that they love it, I am standing back on this one, and I could completely be wrong, but I'm going to wait for this to build me a formation first. Build me something. Change direction. Now we're happy. Now I'm good to go. But it's going to be a little while for this one. Maybe the rest of the month before it turns around. It pretty much has to be, only because we're looking at the 12-hour time frame. And so that means, and we're using a 60-40 exponential moving average. So 30 days of time is 60 12-hour bars. So it takes 30 days of time for this 12-hour exponential moving average to level and start to go the other direction. That's why the 15-minute time frame caught this little tiny 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but the 12-hour doesn't even see it. It's just not even a blip yet. So I'm waiting for all of this. And this is what our spreadsheet is tuned to for the crypto bull market watch. It's tuned to the 12-hour time frame. So all of these markets, when they are going alert, they are almost breaking out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. When they are going green, they've already broken out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So that we can really see on exactly which ones are going first and on average where all of them are. So that's OMG. Now we got ICX. We'll go and take a look at LMN. I am getting better with my alphabet just from doing this. Now this is a very much more inviting chart to me. And by now, you should be seeing the 1, 2, 3s and how this has come back to retest things. So we do have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. And this is not a confirmed 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 12-hour time frame. In our alert status, this would not have triggered a hold. It would not have triggered an alert yet because it hasn't completed the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 12-hour time frame and broken the exponential moving average. So we didn't have all of our required trade setups here. It filtered it out for us. We didn't have to do any work on this. The 4-hour time frame, it would have given us a signal for sure. And then you're immediately having to put your stop loss above your order, waiting to see if the market's going to prove us correct more or not. Then you get kicked out with a little bit of profit if you're doing this correctly and it's best case scenario. And you got to start all over again. So trading on the 4-hour time frame can make some money. But if you're an investor and you're really looking at this for the long term, you want your money to be really making the most for you, you actually have to work less. You have to do less of it, and you'll be more successful. You'll have more fun. You'll be more relaxed. And then your money's working for you. You are not working for your money. You're waiting for the right time. You put your money in there and you leave it. You let it work for you for the entire time that we are in this trend, for the entire time that the exponential moving average is crossed whatever direction it is. You stay in that trade the whole time. There's nothing to do. It's important to do nothing. When we get into a trade that is trending and the exponential moving average crosses over out of a 1, 2, 3 formation, you put your stop just below your entry or above your entry, depending, and then you wait for that trend to go. We would experiment all the way through this period, be frustrating as hell because you're trying it and it fails, trying it and it fails, and then it crosses and you go short and it makes the money. It's time and trading is best to separate them so that time is, you leave your money there and never mind what time it is. Just leave it. And when the market is there to give you the money, your money is there to earn at the right time. Was the last screen I was talking about. Bitcoin dominance falling. It appears at 69%. Some numbers, some people give a different number than what we're seeing here. That's okay. And then whatever the number is, doesn't really matter. It matters the 1, 2, 3 formation. When that happens, there's time to take action. So long as this stays in this trend, I'm not freaking about the alts, and I'll leave my stop way back so that I can catch a bigger move. All right, so we went over a ton of really great stuff here today. And I want to catalog it. I want to talk through the whole trading plan. I want to hear your success stories. I want you guys to benefit from this. I want you to make loads of cash. I want you to change the way you think and feel about money. And I want to write these into books. I'm going to have my ultimate BitMEX tutorial available on Amazon Kindle for free when I release this video. When I release this video and I put it up, I'm going to have it available so that you can get that ebook for free off of Amazon. But first I've got to populate this with all the screenshots so that it's book format worthy, that you could scroll through it, stop it, right where you need those lessons, and follow through step by step. So there'll be a lot of screenshots in that I'll take from doing the video. As I'm doing the video, I'll take the screenshots, and that will become part of the book. Ba-dum-bum. So Bitcoin, what are you doing in the background there? It is threatening to fade off, and all of these alts are looking like they're doing an ascending wedge, and they are just about to go parabolic upward. Is this the fat kid jumping on the teeter-totter that I've been talking about for a year and a half finally going to happen? If this breaks down and it breaks below these levels that we just saw, this hammer reversal, whoo, I think the alts are going to go through the roof. We're right at the edge now. If this bounces and comes above these levels, that really changes the game. This is a really game-changing little consolidation pattern right here, that we're come down to a double bottom. Oh yeah, it's not as easy to clear off this chart. Drawing in this one is always more work. So bouncing off of these levels right now, everything is so on the edge. It's phenomenal. BTC killed me this last few months. Success stories next year, I hope. Bitcoin dominance didn't do well for my crypto trading account, but I made the decision that crypto trading account was going to sit still, and I'm not selling out of it. I'm not selling out of it. I will not leave my wingman. I will not leave my wingman. And it cost me, for sure. Would have been much better to just dump everything and go super long on Bitcoin. But now they are where they are, and I'm ready to spring load them and grow them like crazy. This is the time to get all of that. We'll see if this is the time to get all of that back, because Bitcoin is right on the edge of making that decision for us. If this is going to go continuing parabolic, the alts are not going to do well. Bitcoin dominance will turn around. It will blast up to 78%. Alts will get completely decimated. But if not, then I want to be long right now, and I want to be unfolding those longs, because this is the changing point. This is the 1, 2, 3 formation on the macro scale of the altcoins across all of them. And we know it. It's not just a guess on one of them. It is the average of all of them that we're watching. And I don't think there's anything else out there like this. And there we have the Bitcoin dominance is ticking back up a little bit here. So important to keep an eye on this as you're trading these markets, because it is so quick to turn around now. So that about wraps it up. I think we've gone through tons of stuff. An hour. Awesome. We've done a couple of really great live streams, produced a lot of great benchmark information here that is going to be key to be coming back and looking at in 6 months to a year. For my own self, if not for you, I like to come back and watch these videos at the specific dates to see what was I doing right and wrong. Like July 10th, I did 2 videos just before the dump and just after the dump. And before the dump, I was actually thinking things were looking bullish. And I go back and I say, why was I thinking that? Because all the bearish indicators were there, but my bias was bullish. So it's phenomenal training. And yes, thank you guys for being here. And I will see you on the next live stream. Thanks for sharing this time with me on the Sunday as well. Thanks you guys for the subscribes halfway through and the thumbs up as we're running. I'll sign off and I'll see you guys over on Discord. Cheers. Bye for now.